You're listening to The Bon Ray Show. It's 8 in the evening. Tune in every night at 8 to listen to The Bon Ray Show on Irish News Radio or ITV.ie. Today on ITV.ie and Irish News Radio, we're talking about Islam, and we're getting some information about a very interesting character called Elvis. Good morning, Elvis. So what
Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. We'll be talking about the Sharia Law, and we'll also talking about how we can help Christian in Islamic countries to get their voice out, to help them. What can we do? So Elvis, tell us about Sharia Law, first of all, in the UK and the streets, that it's the trouble that it's causing.
Yeah, we got number of, as reported by Reading University, put the number around. They said 30. The think tanks they believe is 85.
Wow.
So we got 85 Sharia courts active, mainly operating in the mosques. Although they are sort of in any other locations like shops or rented properties. And what it is that they are basically ruling almost like possibly 10% of the whole Sharia law. And that is mainly about divorce and marriages, things like that.
And the streets, the Sharia streets, what do they do, and what are they about?
Yeah, if you remember back a few years ago, they started around the East London, where the most dense population of Bangladeshis and Pakistanis are there, and we got a large mosque after the Regent's Mosque in there, and people came out and start bullying people who were, I believe it was a weekend, coming from the clubs and pubs. The girls who were wearing sort of club dress, sort of short skirt or,
like shows,
yeah, sort of that type. And also people who were drunk or gays, they were stopped and redirected to actually leave the area. And that was badly was defended by some people that sort of, this is against the law and we don't need such a thing. It was criticized badly. Then I believe the same thing happened in Germany as well. That was actually filmed exactly the same, that the Sharia law police, but this time in Germany it was a bit further sort of in advance, by letting the women, the Muslim women, wearing the hijab with the checker box and the thing actually saying police on their hijab. So that was copied as well. But we don't have that at the moment. Mind you, it was last month that one of my friends called me and he said that he saw a police car with two women with the burqas in it. I didn't believe it, but later on when I searched, it was, and the police suggesting that we can have people in burqa in the police force.
That's crazy. You have police women who have the burqa. That is insane.
Right.
I mean, even to drive a car is reckless to drive if you don't have full vision. That's absolutely dangerous.
Yes. Actually, when I searched, I thought he was joking. But when I searched, I saw myself, actually, there were lots of documents and lots of reports on the internet available. You can search. that yeah, the police actually encouraging that.
That's crazy. Why do you think that the governments, the UK governments and the other governments, are really like allowing this and almost encouraging it? Why do you really think that they're trying to bring this into civilized countries? And
They
it's
really,
totally uncivilized.
they really bound towards Islam. Yeah, they're giving up to Islam and they surrendered to Islam. Yeah. Um,
Why? I don't understand. Why would they? Like, it's not. Why are they like? Are they getting paid by Saudi Arabia to do this?
yeah,
Why are
and
they giving up to Islam? Are they afraid or are they getting
they
paid?
are afraid. They are afraid. They've been paid and they are afraid now as well. You see, they, as you know, they come up with the idea that we're gonna have diversity. You know, it started with something simple, and they thought, yeah, it's gonna be all right, and people are gonna say, well done to you. Yeah, you are you know, you're encouraging diversity. You are not racist. They didn't know they're gonna fall into a big hole that they even can't get out of it soon. Yeah. And also now the numbers of these Muslims are so much, and as you know, they are very violent people.
Mm.
Well, not all, but majority.
No, it was a
And
violent religion. I think it
that's not,
makes people violent. So it's not, I think that they were naturally violent. I think the religion makes them violent.
yes, exactly. And now even people are afraid of them. You can see Hyde Park Corner is a one example of it. They occupying Hyde Park Corner and nobody dare to actually go and get them out because they're using the law against us. Yeah, they're using the democracy here against us. Anything you say, oh, you're racist, you're Islamophobe, you're this, that, and people are afraid of this. Yeah, people are afraid, as well as the government, afraid to be called racist. This is the main problem,
It's
and
quite
also,
scary that they're putting people in danger because they're scared of a word. Now, what happens in these Sharia courts? I believe divorce, but aren't these Muslim men, can't they marry 4 wives? So
yes.
why would they bother getting a divorce if they can have 4 wives at the same time? And why is this being allowed in the UK? Isn't this like against the law?
Well, is another stupidity. Is another stupidity. Why it is the Sharia laws actually mainly operating on marriages and divorce, mainly. Also some finances, mind you, but that's mainly where it goes in that frame. Obviously, Sharia law is not about only divorce and marriage. Sharia law, for example, if you search in Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, like even Iran, you got stoning, you got beheading, you got hands cut, hands chopping of the thieves, and far more than what we got in here. The reason they can't apply these laws is obviously so violent, and the Muslim, they're smart and clever. They sneaking in by sort of saying, look, Islamic law is, we don't have any book by Sharia law called Sharia law, do we? It was a debate on television. Then the guy was saying,
Oh,
well, if there's Sharia law, where is the book? We don't have a book called Sharia law, but the Sharia law is coming by the saying of Muhammad himself and the
yeah.
Quran and the Hadith. This is where things being said. Some of them, they're so kind of violent and embarrassing that even Aisha, for example, she destroyed 2 verses of suckling and the stoning. And when they said, what happened? She said, when we were busy with burying sort of funeral of messenger of Allah, the goat came in and ate them.
Wow.
Sort of imagine how bad and violent they are, that even Aisha wanted to destroy them. Anyway, what it is that these Sharia laws, for example, we got marriages that are not registered in the system because obviously is not official, yeah, but it is official by the Muslims, right? And what it is that they even charged up to £300 off about here. That every case they charge £300, and that is for women, not the men, right?
Wow.
And
They charge the
obviously,
women.
yeah, they charge the women, not the men, and also the
For getting
what it
married or
is.
getting divorced?
Well, I
Or
believe for the divorce, yeah. And what it is that obviously those in a low finance or refugees is free. Well, this is going completely against all of us. It's for example, if the things are not registered, if the marriages and divorces are registered, obviously it's going in the shadow and we don't see them. And these people can use and abuse the system as,
so
for
they can
example,
take
come here
money
and
out
marry.
of child allowance and
That's
unmarried
right.
mothers and all
That's
that sort of
that's
stuff.
right.
And
That's right.
so a man could have 4 of these and they could have whatever amount of children, and they're all getting off the British taxpayers,
Yeah.
all unmarried mothers and all children's allowance or whatever they're getting, or low income, which is crazy. So the English people are paying for this. That's
That's
insane.
right. And the thing is saying here, countries 2.8 million Muslims are using the Sharia course that they are converted to in all manner of places like mosques, converted houses and shops. For example, here says, with the women flogged to stoned to death for committing adultery on the scantest of evidence, yeah. And they pity thieves having their hands amputated. These are not actually being complied here. Yeah, is not working at the moment because obviously the Muslim, they're not going to bring this and they can't use it anyway because it's so far they are in minority. And what people think that yeah, Sharia law is harmless. They're not going to do anything to us, and they using their. You see, we got the law of this land, and even the Muslim being told that you should respect the law of the land, the country that you're using. Yeah, you're living in. Obviously not. They are in minority, and they know the sort of culture in here is not going to accept it that easily because it goes against them. So they sneaking in. They slowly bring in the softy stuff first, like divorce and marriage and things like that. When they are in majority, the full Sharia law will come to um, as it is to sort of like fully comply. Yeah. Um, for example, if you drink, yeah, the drinking alcohol in any Muslim country, you will be sentenced to 80 lashes on your back, right?
Wow.
And for example, in Iran, I believe there are women that been stoned to death just because, just because by the law you need just a couple of witnesses just to say, yeah, this woman has, has been seen having an affair with the sort of, for example, neighbor or a whatever, colleague, whatever. So these people been stoned to death for something that they haven't done, just because they had people, they didn't like them or their enemies or something, and and this is how it works.
There's not much value on life, really. They can just take away someone's life for just having, I don't know, having either they feel bitter towards them or angry towards them, particularly with women. They don't seem to have any value on their lives and actually seem to actually hate women in general. It's quite scary, their views. And so for a man to get a divorce, all he has to say, I believe, is, I divorced you 4 times. So he
Three
doesn't
times.
even need to support.
Yeah.
3 times.
So talaq, it means divorce, divorce, divorce. And that is divorce. Actually, you reminded me of something very interesting. This issue that sort of, if a man divorces her 3 times, yeah, that is a full divorce, because if he doesn't do it 3 times, apparently they can't come back together under the certain sort of circumstances. But what it is, if the man call her 3 times to divorce, yeah, divorce, 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 then they can't come back, yeah. And the woman cannot remarry the same man, her husband, unless she goes and sleep with another man, right? A stranger. Yeah,
Okay.
it is stupid. Or, you know, sort of do a short marriage. They call it in Arabic muta'a, or Iranian call it sigha. And what it is, you can marry a woman from as little as half an hour, 1 hour a day, a month, a week, whatever. Yeah, you can agree between. So is there like a contract marriage, which is prostitution, really? If you think about it, is the prostitution.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what it is that the woman should marry another man for even, you know, short, whatever, 1 hour a day, whatever. Then she can divorce him and sort of, well, when the contract is expired, then she can come back and marry her husband again. I remember back in, that's right, back in, the man, by the way, called muhallil. It means he will make it halal to a woman to sort of go back to her husband. And funny enough, those men actually, they charge. Can you believe it? They charge to marry and sleep with this woman. This is absolutely
Wow,
unbelievable.
they charge a married.
Yeah, they charge. That's right. They charge. Yeah. And back in 70s, during the Shah of Iran, it was before the revolution, I do remember clearly, I saw the film actually myself. It was a film came on cinema, actually under the push of the Islamic leaders. The film had to be edited a bit. So anyway, it had to be sugar-coated. But the film eventually came on the screen, and it was the story of the man who divorced his wife. They had a fight, and he divorced her fully. And according to the law, she should have had a muhallil, find a muhallil to sort of sleep with her and divorce, well, basically divorce her according to the contract, time of the contract, and then come back to her husband. And the guy
She has
who
to consummate the marriage with someone else.
that's right. So what happened? She basically, they find this man they trusted they're gonna be all right, and he was one of the mullahs, one of the sheikhs, yeah. And when he married that woman, because she was pretty, he didn't divorce her again. And the guy was, you know, the husband was doing anything to get her back, and the guy said, no, she's my wife, I'm not gonna divorce her. And that was the case, actually came on the cinema, that these things happen as well, you know, and things like that.
Wow, that's crazy. But she can only have one husband, but he can have 4 wives, and he can have many
Yeah,
sex slaves as well.
that's right. Yeah, he can have as many sigas as they can. I mean, it was a very common thing in Iran, for example. I remember that, the man could have, according to his financial thing, but some of them, they were going and marrying, sort of having a sira, sort of as many as possible for a short time, whatever. So it's halal, and the woman can't do anything
It
about
was
it.
like she can't do that because she gets stoned. Even like I believe because adultery for a woman is very different. It's like, don't eat that. I told her not to eat that, or I told her not to walk out that door, or I told her
Yes,
not to do this. And that's an
yeah,
adultery for a woman, which is really,
yeah,
really scary. That like
yeah,
anything she can be killed for, if he tells her not to do something. So they really don't have any human rights at all, women, under
absolutely,
Sharia law. There
absolutely not. Even,
is there anything that a woman like has any sort of value on her at all? Like, is there anything in Islam that has a protection? Or, like they say that burqa is some sort of protection, but I actually think they get raped in them anyway, so there's not really any
yes,
protection for that.
yeah, yeah. No, you see, the burqa, it came during the time of Muhammad, although some people saying is not in the Islam. Lots of people actually, believe it or not, they came and they shocked me because I wasn't expecting those people with those kind of education and knowledge
Yeah.
come and say, oh, this is not in Islam. No, it is in Islam. Actually,
Yeah.
when Muhammad starts going against the Jews and Christians, and he allows the men, the Muslim men, to take the non-Muslim women, rape them or have them as a sex slave. And when women came to Muhammad, well, basically because hijab wasn't as official as yet during the time of Muhammad, Muslim women were obviously harassed as well. So what they did, they went and complained to Muhammad that we're getting harassed as well. And then here is the Allah again talking to Muhammad and says, your women should be covering themselves. Yeah. So it comes with another surah that they should be wearing hijab, and that was how
And that it should be
came.
down to their
Yeah,
ankles or something, shouldn't it? And that it
yeah,
should cover their neck
yeah,
and their
yeah,
hair.
yeah.
I was going to ask you, sorry, about the Sharia police in Iran and different, they're called the moral police and different names. So
That's
they're
right. Yeah,
just basically making sure that they're absolutely by Islamic code. So how can people say that it's not Islamic if that's what happens in Islamic countries? They have actually moral police making sure that the dress code is
that's right.
kept to what it's supposed to be.
That's right. Yeah, we got men and women. We had a sort of patrol. They call them with the Nissan patrol. They were on the street, and they were women and men, and two group. Women for the women, obviously, and men for men. And for example, at my time, when I was in Iran, it was far worse than what it is now because the government had to actually loosen up a bit because they know people are not happy. So now I can see on the videos, on the films, that men are wearing short sleeves. But during my time, when the revolution just started, you weren't allowed to even fold your sleeves one up. Yeah, I was arrested. I was arrested while I was in the military uniform, and they told me that you folded your sleeves off. And I said, come on, I'm just washing my hands. Anyway, and the women also, if the hijab was going up a bit, sort of showing their hair, those women actually were coming Sharia law, Sharia police. In some cases, we had women, sort of this Sharia police, that they had tissues in their hand, and they said, let me clean your lipsticks, for example. Yeah, you shouldn't wear these lipsticks. And they had a blade inside the tissue, and what they did, they basically, with the blade, they cut their lips and faces. Yeah, this is barbaric. It is barbaric. It's not happening now. As I said, because people are not really happy, and sort of they have to. Although they get arrested, mind you.
Moral police who were actually men, a group of men beating the crap out of two teen girls. They surrounded her with batons and absolutely belted the crap out of her for not having the hijab on properly. Like, it is crazy.
It's
And I've heard
far
of
more
them
crazy
in
than it. I
people's
was
houses.
arrested. I was beaten up.
Oh, no, it's just saying that I've heard them going into teenagers' houses for ripped jeans, and them ended up in prison and being beaten so badly that they are knocked out unconscious, which is great. Absolutely,
Yeah,
very. The whole religion is
yeah,
extremely violent and
yeah. Yes, it is.
extreme hatred towards everything. And that is a
Yes, it
very
is.
scary. The governments will not and refuse to look at this as that this is too. It's like it is a satanic cult. I actually do believe Muhammad was possessed by the devil. I really do, because his hatred.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But like,
Your voice is
what?
going. You sound.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Oh, the other question I have: what can we do to help the voices of ex-Muslims and Christians get their voice out? Because the left really don't want to hear it, and the governments don't want to hear their voices, and it's very important that they, because of all this bullshit about refugees and all this crap they go on with, they don't take any of the Christians from those countries. They're taking Muslims from those countries, and they're not taking people who are actually being persecuted, like Christians or ex-Muslims, people who actually need to
Yeah.
be saved. They're taking the people who are killing and murdering into our countries. So how can we get their voices out? Like, what is the best kind of way to get the government to listen?
Well, I think what is everything we just talk. Yeah, government knows about it. The only problem is because our governments, are with them. They put it under the carpet. Yeah, they don't want anybody to see this because it's shocking, because it's revolting, because it's disgrace. So they know people not going to like it. So they push it under the carpet. What we should be doing, bringing, just like you did, I'm Iranian and I witnessed myself the time of the revolution when it started. Yeah, I haven't been there, mind you, for nearly 29 years now. Yeah, but things has changed. But sort of, I was there when the real Islamic Sharia law was happening. I could see people being lashed. I saw people were hanged. I saw people were imprisoned. I saw people were arrested for stupid things like, for example, um, these brothers and sisters. They were brother and sister, right? Walking, and they stopped them and they said to the guy, "Who's the girl?" And he said, "My sister." And they didn't believe, right? So by the time they took him to the prison, and sort of they had a series of people were getting executed, right? And they put him amongst those people, and they were executed. When they called
Jeez.
their parents, they said, "Come and take the body." And just like the guy couldn't basically prove that this is my sister, he didn't have an ID. You ask the people, Iranian people, who basically, not the young one, the one basically over 40s that they remember the time of the revolution. Yeah, they will tell you exactly what of experience, right? And it's a mental, it's a madness, right? It's the lawlessness. Yeah, it's sort of. I remember that whoever had a gun back in Iran when the revolution happened, yeah, everybody had a gun at that time because the barracks were looted. So whoever could go against whoever he doesn't like, yeah, revenge, personal thing, or they call, oh, he's with Savak, the intelligence service of the Shah time, and people were beaten up for no reason. Is this how we're going to?
What shocks me is from the time before the revolution, and I've seen this with other Islamic countries as well. Before the country, very normal, everything's very normal, particularly Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan,
Yeah,
or not, Lebanon, all these countries that before Islamic, you can see fantastic life. Men seem fine with women, they seem very normal. Women,
yeah,
in fact, seem to have more rights than in particularly Ireland at that time. Everything is flying. But within a few years, men now, and I'd say if you go back to Iran now, you'd see much more violent towards women.
yeah,
The
yeah,
violence, the attitude has completely changed. So, because you grew up in a time where it wasn't Islamic, within that amount of time, which really shocks me, is the men's attitude towards women. Like you can see the pictures, they're very normal with the women. They're on beaches, they're very normal. They're
yeah,
working with women. Women have jobs. They have good jobs. Everything's normal. They're driving. Very
yeah.
normal relationships going on. They're walking through the streets, all very safe. Then within a few years of Islamic rule coming in, you just see this violence and the hatred. And it's not even the law, it's the actual men. What happens that it's so overpowering?
You see, the Muhammad was a violent man. They say no, he wasn't. No, he was. In the first 12 years, when he was introducing so-called his religion to people, he had to come softly and nicely, you know. But later on, when he went to Medina and the real colors of Muhammad came to sort of to surface, you can see from Medinan time onwards, this man, he showed his color, his true colors, and he was a warmonger. He fought, he killed,
Absolutely.
he did everything. And why it is because the Islam, yeah. Uh, I remember actually one of the episode of the American Dad that he goes to Saudi Arabia. That reminds me of that he loved it because he was man. And
Yeah.
the law Saudi was for men. He could do
Yeah.
anything he want. I did want to go back to America. So why it is that women got no values, even as Muhammad says, he saw the majority of the residents of hell were women.
Yeah.
And when they asked him why, he said because of lack of intelligence. Yeah,
Yeah.
lack of sort of. But you see,
Why did he hate women so much? What happened to him as an individual to create a religion so gender apartheid and so angry and hateful towards women? What happened to him that he really hated women so much? I mean, people say originally in the beginning of his life, he married his first wife was a
yeah,
married woman or something and la la la. But I'm
had-
like going, how many wives did he
she was a
have?
businesswoman. She was a
Sorry.
businesswoman. She was a Christian as well. Yeah.
So what happened that he hated
Well,
women so much? Was there something with that marriage?
no,
Yeah.
Khadija died. Khadija died, and he used her money. She was a wealthy woman. She was a businesswoman. She was a Christian as well. So why it is that, you see, when he got to the power, yeah, he enjoyed abusing that power, yeah. Muhammad twice actually has said, once in the Quran, that I will I will cause terror in the heart of non-believers. Yeah, he
Yeah.
used the name terror. Yeah, and also in his hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari, actually, he says, I've been made victorious through terror. You see, he said it. He said he's
Yeah.
been made victorious through terror. This man, he enjoyed that because he knew he could see he can do anything he wants with that. He can use terror, and people were basically throwing themselves on Muhammad, yeah, because he was a powerful man. Everybody was scared of him, and he was a wealthy as well. You know, he
So
was in the money
fear
of everybody.
to fear. He used fear to kind of get people to become his Muslim. Was it?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
was reading
absolutely.
now for satanic verses in the Quran, like from the beginning yesterday,
Yeah,
and where he admits that the devil has come to him, that Satan has come and he got on his tongue, and that when Abraham came and said, why did you say this, Muhammad? So he admits that a lot of time that and also that time you were talking about when he goes to hell, he admits an awful lot of the times that he's dealing with the devil. And
yeah.
the interesting parts I find when he gets really angry with Jesus, he calls him yes with it, because
Well, he's angry with everybody. He's angry with
Jesus
everybody.
had never had sin or had never obviously visited hell or had anything to
Yeah,
do with Satan. And it shows, even in his words, he contradicts himself so much, it even shows that he's not a prophet or he's not a holy person because Jesus had no sin. He never visited hell. He never had anything to do with Satan. But Muhammad, in his own
yeah,
words, admits he has been to hell and he has had dealings with Satan.
yeah.
So it's
I mean, he has been he's been shown hell, and kind of he comes and make people sort of horrified of what's happening. And even if you read that story, he at the end he says, women, give charity because you are the majority of residents of hell. And women were throwing their jewelries and money to him. So you see, he knew how to influence these people, how to play them with terror, with just making them scared. Give your money. Yeah, they throwing their jewelries at him. Read the story. Actually, that is available. That, women were scared at the end. This
God,
man was a fraud.
horrible, horrible man. It's incredible. There's so many people would follow such a horribly ruthless, disgusting character. And the more I find out about Muhammad, the other thing I was reading about yesterday, which was disgusting as well, about when they go to their so-called paradise, that there will be boys available and use them at like pearls or something like that. They will be
Yes,
circus
yes,
boys among them
yes,
as if they're pearls.
yes.
Like that's so shocking. And I was listening to someone else explaining it that because they see boys under 16, some
Yeah,
Islamic countries under
yeah,
14,
yeah,
as no
yeah.
sex, so you can have sex with them because they're not actually a man or a boy. It's just
That's true.
it's just crazy stuff. Like
This
in
man was a filthy pervert, and everything. I mean, there is another image of his paradise that he says paradise is a marketplace and nothing bought and sold but the images of men and women, and whoever man, you see, he says men, they like the images, they can enter them. So he's talking about the straight men, because when they says the images of men and women, right, so you got male and female, but
yeah,
here he talks about the men that whoever of those, whichever of those images they like, they can enter them. So if a man like the images of the man and enter it, what does it mean?
Yeah.
This man,
Oh,
obviously, he's been a gay.
Yeah, I do. Because if you look around in Saudi Arabia, that's always crossed my mind. Muhammad must have been gay because, it's okay for men to hold each other's hands and kiss each other and spend time with each other. Where
Yeah.
he has it all banned, where women have to be covered up and almost, isolated, where, obviously it's a crime to kiss a woman on the cheek or hold her hand, where they have all these men kissing each other and going to dances together. Like, it's very segregated. I often think he's gay and he's angry at women for being gay. That's often crossed my mind because they have such a bad life from the time they're born. Like, it's like they would be, and this sounds awful, be better off if you have a daughter. I'm totally against abortion. But if they were going to be born into Islam, they would actually be better off dead. And I'm totally against abortion. But that would be the only time, if you knew you couldn't get out of a religion like Islam, the child it doesn't have a life in Islam if it's born a female. There would be no
No,
point.
absolutely not. Even I'll tell you what, you can go and search any of these sort of. I don't remember the sort of exact number of the hadith or something, but I couldn't prepare them because I didn't know we're going to come to this discussion about the sort of part of the hadith. But sort of even it's been said that if a woman kill a man, she would got to pay full amount of the penalty. But if the man killed the woman, then he can pay quarter of that, just a quarter. Yeah.
Jeez.
So the value of woman is not only not even half. Yeah, is less than half. Yeah.
Quarter.
Yeah, quarter.
Because even when
So
she gets raped, doesn't she have to have 3 or 4 men, is it, to give witness that she was raped?
Well, it depends on the witnesses. As I said, if she got only 2
Men.
witnesses, male witness, then it's fine. If not, the woman got to be at twice of the men. Yeah, so
it is. Women are worth a quarter of a man. They're not even worth half. They're worth a quarter.
Yeah, it's something here actually. I don't know if you got time to read it. That I was reading is on the Sunan Abu Dawud, yeah, and is Sahih. And here it actually says about the Muhammad that he saw this man. He said that while he was given to jesting that he was talking to the people and making them laugh, the Prophet poked him under this man. Yeah, he was a man that he was making people laugh and everything, right? So Muhammad poked him under the ribs with a stick. He said, "Let me take retaliation." He said, "Take retaliation." He said, "You are wearing a shirt, but I'm not." The Prophet then raised his shirt, and the man embraced him and began to kiss his side. Actually, if you go to the real Arabic one, it doesn't say side, he says under his belly. So use your imagination.
Wow.
And then he said, "This is what I wanted, Messenger of Allah." So they've been enjoying kissing. I mean, why this man been kissing on his side without the shirt? I mean, I don't understand. What is the story? What's happening here? Muhammad poking him under his ribs, and sort of this is clearly telling you this man he's been sexually sick.
He is.
He's known.
I definitely think he's obviously he obviously was a paedophile, but he was probably gay as well.
Oh yeah, definitely he was.
But even
Definitely he
when
was.
he goes on, like the amount of sex he seems to need to have, like he has how many wives at the time, as well as having the child bride, and yet they talk about her having to clean his wank stains off in the hadith, where
Yeah,
she goes
yeah,
and
yeah.
she's using her hands to
Aisha was
scrub it.
doing it for him. Aisha was doing it for him. Aisha was cleaning all the stains on his garment, and he had 13 wives at the time. And once he said, when he had 9, they saw him at one night. He was going door to door from the number 1 to number 2, number 3 to all the way to number 9. And even people say, "Oh, how Messenger of Allah can do that?" And they said, "Oh, he's been said that he got the power of 30 men." What? When this man had the time to talk to Allah and he do his rituals, I don't understand. A man of God.
Seems quite bizarre. Like what was like I don't know. Like it's actually violent though. Like this girl, he seems to get the child bride pleasure. Like obviously, like from he was thighing her from a young age before he actually raped her.
Yeah.
So he thighs her, and then he makes this permissible from a 1 hour old female that they can thigh this baby girl, and
Yeah.
there's no age limit to what you can thigh a baby, but if you rape her and she gets damaged, then she has to be one of your wives or something like that. I can't remember one of the story, but the thighing was so disgusting. What's that about? If you rape her and if she's damaged, you have to marry her or something, is it?
Well, I mean, I don't really know, but I suppose, men always got the option. Men always can get away with murder by the Islamic law. But anyway, coming back to sort of this Islamic thing in Sharia courts, you see here it says about 100 British Muslim couples, more than 60% of the total, 60% of the total, are not legally married since they have only undergone on Islam. So you see, we got 60% of the Muslims legal, basically according to Islam, married legally, but on the system they are not legally married. Yeah. So you can find out what they can do in
So they
here,
can
right?
can a man get certain for having other wives? They can the men probably claiming all the child. Also, I'm thinking about the financial side of that is like all the British tax money going on that, like for having a wife and amount of children's allowance. I bet you all the men are getting that. The women aren't even
Oh,
getting the
oh
children's
yeah,
allowance.
yeah. The thing is, although they are not married, but you see, uh, according to the country's law, yeah, they are not
Yeah.
officially married. But when they got a kid, they go and get the housing. Yeah. So I mean, because we are softy and gullible, as they come and say, oh look, she got 2 kids, and sort of we can't just leave her on the street. So immediately they get a house. Even I heard that some of them, what they do, believe me, I mean, these stupid things happening here all the time. That sort of a couple, they've been offered, for example, a council house, yeah. They come and say, we basically separated, not divorced, separated. So the man goes, or the goes, for example, with the kid to the council that, yeah, I mean, my husband threw me out on the street and I got 2 kids or 3 kids, and, they obviously immediately on the priority, they give her another place to live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the man and the woman, they back together and they rent the second place. I mean, we've been played. They know how to play us because, they got their own law and they got the question is, do Christian people can implement their law? They say, for example, I'm a Christian according to the Christian law. No, if you are in a Muslim country, there is only one law. It's a Muslim law. It's a Sharia law. But they come here. We say, okay, you can have your own law. I mean, do the Jews do that? Or do the Christian here, sort of say, oh, according to the law of church, are going to do that? No, you can't. There is one
Law.
law in the for all.
And that's the way any country should. I mean, like, it shouldn't even have to do with, like, religion as such, but there should be one law that everybody must follow, including the burqa. If men can't wear a helmet going into a shop, then women shouldn't be allowed to wear the burqa in public areas. If you want to wear it at home, fair enough, that's your own business. But in the street, in public, you should be made abide by the law. Everybody is abide by, and if everybody has to be recognised, they should be recognised too. It's a disgrace that there is one law for them and one law for everybody else, and that's
In
what's
here,
really
actually,
problem.
that's right, exactly. I mean, one of the things I'm reading here, it says, for example, some Muslim husbands also reject the idea of civil marriage because it gives their wives more legal rights. As Sharia permits a Muslim man to take 4 wives, it is also allowed the men to practice polygamy without breaking Britain's bigamy laws. Yeah. So this is, you see, it allows them to actually do whatever they want. And this is not the Muslim country, at least yet.
Yeah. What about these arranged marriages? Because they seem to kind of because I presume the Muslim females, a lot of them are probably becoming westernized, but I've heard a lot of Muslim men go back to marry them in Pakistan or wherever. And the women themselves are forced back to Pakistan and wherever to forced marriages. What's the story with that?
Well, they're still doing it in here. I was reading the story on the same report in here that this woman, although she was born in here, but her father actually comes and say, you have to marry this man, a local man. Yeah. Also, it can be as a deal. Some people even get money. I mean, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, I know some fathers or some parents, they're selling their kids,
Jesus.
because of the money. They say you've got to marry this man. So I don't understand. And the thing is, the governments, they know about this. They know about this happening in here.
Why aren't they acting? Really, like, there's enough for, like, I come from Ireland, never grew up, never even knew what Islam was. I came from a strictly very 90% or 99% Catholic country, right, in the Republic. Well, 90, whatever. So, and the rest was Christian. There was no other religion, like maybe a tiny percent, like, I don't know, Jewish, but there was no Muslims ever that when I grew up, I'd ever saw or knew of, or ever heard of. I didn't know of even other nationalities, and I
Yeah.
know about it. So the government does know about it. Why are they not doing anything about it?
As I said, they are scared. They are scared. That's all in things, and also they have been paid by the Saudi. I mean, here in this report, I was reading that the majority of these courts, if I find that, been under the influence of Saudi Arabia and the Wahhabis. Yeah, and as you know, Wahhabis are very strict. They are
Yeah.
absolute ruthless, right? So yeah, there we are. You'll find it. The jurists on the Sharia courts are sold by some Muslim critics to be mentored and financially supported by Saudi Arabian Wahhabi fundamentalists. And I am told that they have a reputation to delivering hardline and misogynistic judgments, right? So absolutely true. The Saudi Arabia pouring the money, even back years ago, I don't know whether you heard or not, the Saudi Arabian, they were spending, that was literally possibly over 10 years ago, that I heard, they were giving each African $100 to convert to Islam.
$100? No way! Wow.
Yeah, $100 for example, a man in the villages of Africa is a lot of money, and they were
Yeah.
converting. You see, that was the you see what they were doing. They adding numbers. Even what's his name? The Libyan General Gaddafi did. He was coming to Italy and literally pouring money on these girls, and even he was taking them with himself to Libya. He has told himself, he said to people that why we don't have to push ourselves, by such a date, Europe automatically with the 500 million Muslim will be Islamic continent. So you see, it's a number. They know what they're doing. It's the matter of number. In America, in very recently after this voting, back a couple of weeks ago, two Muslim, one of them is Sunni, Somali for sure. They got elected as a councillor, and now they're going to the Senate.
Jesus.
Once they are in the Senate, next they can be nominated themselves for the presidency. Look, this is how it goes. In here, right. The man in the United Kingdom, for example, number 10, he's a Muslim. Theresa May brought him a close to actually becoming a prime minister. Yeah, Sajid Javid is a Muslim man. Now she put him exactly on the position that she was as the Home Secretary, right?
Jesus Christ, scary days.
Yes, this traitor, this stupid woman, she brought that man, put him sort of in a position that he can be next elected as a prime minister. So once he's a prime minister, he's done. He's doing whatever he wants.
Scary.
Yeah.
Really scary. Is there any way that could charge Theresa May for doing this, or?
Well,
I mean,
I bet they're all getting paid. They're all getting paid by Saudis. They're all getting paid. I promise you, they got their hands in the pocket of the Saudis. And, because otherwise, any crazy, stupid on this world will come and say, come and invade my country. Come and I'll put the red carpet for you. I'll send the invitation for you. They were sending invitation for immigrants, saying we got beautiful women, blonde women. Come on. In Germany, you see, this is another news. They didn't even mention it. When this invasion started back a few years ago, I heard that they gave to immigrants 3,500 sort of, or over 3,000 free condoms, and they put videos how to talk to the German girl, how to pick up a German girl. They did it in Sweden as well. Same thing. How to have sex with, God's sake.
Why do they want to destroy the white race, the blonde hair, blue eyed of the Swedish and the Germans? They seem to just want to get rid of that. Why?
Honestly, I wish I had a proper answer for that. I really don't know. I really don't.
Just the amount of traitors in government, I just can't see how this is going to be. And there's so many people asleep. I think people are beginning to wake up. But even we have a Taoiseach who's half Indian, who was never voted in.
Yeah.
His party was never voted in, yet he's the leader of this country. who nobody voted him in. It's
You see,
insane what's happening right in
yes,
front of us. And nobody is standing up and fighting in any country going, hello, like, how could this be? He's half Indian. He was health minister, which we've had a huge amount of problems with cervix cancers. A load of women are dying in this country. Like, just craziness. And nobody's questioning any of this.
you see, when I talk to any English person, yeah, saying, "Oh, Islam is the religion of peace" or something, I'll say, "Do you know about the Sharia law?" Oh, well, yeah, no, definitely they don't. But I said, "Do you like
What
dogs?
they do,
Do
what
you
they do
like
say
pets?"
to me is, oh, don't be so ridiculous. Not every Muslim has to practice your law. It's only the extremists. I'm like, what? They're
No,
so...
no, they have to. They have to. No, the reason is, let me give you the reason for it. Yeah, Sharia law, as I said, is not a secondary book in Islam. Everything in Sharia law, it comes from the heart of Quran and the Hadith. Yeah, if you are a Muslim, that's the book you follow. So consequently, you follow the Sharia law. You cannot just sugarcoat or cherry pick or whatever you want. You can't. They do, but well, basically, it's not right thing. Yeah, I know lots of Muslims. They do everything, but when it comes to it, they are Muslim. But when it comes to it, oh yeah, they like to have a drink. They love to have a sort of flirting with girls or whatever. But when it comes to, oh, I'm a Muslim, they do that. They are hypocrites. Always been like this, right? But why it is, I asked them, do you like pet? Do you like dogs, for example? Yes. I said, well, you can't have a dog to start with, yeah? Muhammad called them the devil. Dogs are devil, especially the black one is devil. You cannot have it. They are najis, they are filthy, they are dirty, yeah? You can see when you pass by with the dog, by a Muslim, what they do. They jump like 10 meters away.
Jesus.
And yeah, do you like to have, for example, picture of your beloved one in your house? Yes, so you can't have him. I'm sorry. Having an image or a statue, any kind or so, is not allowed in Islam. You cannot hang the picture of your dad or your brother, for example, who died in the army in sort of Afghanistan or whatever. You cannot do that. You cannot have pictures or statue, anything. Yeah. And also I'll say, if you're asking Saudi Arabia, yeah, please do that. Yeah, don't just rely on what I'm saying. Just go and research them. Women cannot go to cemetery.
Yeah, I
Women
remember you told me this. This was the
flowers.
first time I heard it last time. But yeah, tell me again. I remember hearing this is shocking. They can't go to cemetery ever.
Oh, no, they can't. They can't even cry. Yeah, if you go to cemetery and cry, they beat you up.
Why?
Yeah, because
You're a
they
woman and
they
you're
say,
you're lower.
yeah, they saying any sort you having a sort of crying for your dead, because dead is dead. Yeah, it is like a shirk. You cannot go and cry on things. You cannot go and, it's just madness. Absolutely mental. I mean, the more us, the more we talk, the more I remember of these stupid, crazy rules and regulation in Islam. Unbelievable. I was, I
So,
was, I was on the street waiting for the telephone. Yeah, it was a telephone kiosk, no mobile, no nothing. Yeah, this girl in the telephone kiosk, she opened the door. She said, "Excuse me, do you have a spare coin?" And I said, "Yeah, take it." By the time I give it, it was a as you call them, revolutionary guards. Yeah, also as a Sharia police. Anyway, they apply. Guy knocked my shoulder and he said, "Who's the girl?" And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Do you think I'm stupid?" I said, "No." You ask me who, I don't know. She asked the spare coin and give it to her. They dragged me right in the middle of the middle of the junction. Believe you me, they stopped the traffic from 4 ways. They beat the living piss out of me in the middle with the guns and punch and kick. Yeah.
Because you gave her a coin?
Because I gave her a coin, and they asked if they thought she was my girlfriend. Yeah. And I said, no, I don't know who is she. Because I argued with them, and I just said, look, I don't know who is she. And she said, do you think I'm stupid? I said, no, I'm not saying you are stupid, but I don't know her.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine what we are going to bring here to our country? If these people are looking peaceful, I am telling you people, because they are in minority, they act peaceful and nice, and because they obviously, it's like a marketing, yeah, like advertisement. They're marketing themselves as a nice, peaceful, softy, lovely people. And I'll tell you people, if they get to majority, you're not going to face any of them as a peaceful man or woman. That is the guarantee.
But you see, I think the main problem with, like in this country, and I think in your country as well, in the UK, well, in the UK, is that in all the countries at the moment, and particularly when Iran was your country, well, it still is, when before, is that people always think it's not going to happen here. They have this stupid thing, oh, we're different, or this is different, it'll never happen to us. They have this unrealistic thing, like no matter how many times I've told people, I said, look at Iran, look at Iraq, look at Lebanon, look at Afghanistan, look at the women before Islamic, and then you will realize that it can happen anywhere. They weren't born Muslim. It wasn't they were born into it. They weren't born to think or like that. It isn't this thing they were born into. It happened to them. Their country was taken from them. And if their country can be taken from them, and they were more modern than majority, like a lot of countries, than Ireland, now Ireland's trying to make itself modern, they can take it away at that stage. They can take any country. We are no different. There is no difference with us than them. There is nothing. Like, I've looked through it. There is nothing. There's no reason why they were able to be taken and we wouldn't be able to be taken. And that is something that people don't get into their heads. They think, oh, we're different because we've done this or we've done that, and they can't understand that it is exactly the same. There
It
is
is
nothing
exactly.
different. And that is the problem.
If they took Lebanon, if they took Syria, they were Christian countries. Yeah. If they took Turkey or any of these countries that is written in the history, go and see. Afghanistan was a Hindu. Yeah. They were Buddhist. Sorry, but why it is, when they come with a large number, they automatically take over. As I said, now we got people in the Senate of America. We got here in Britain, British Parliament, and next step will be we having a Muslim prime minister, and they're going to have a president who was already Obama was a Muslim anyway. Yeah. Obama was a Muslim.
Absolutely.
And this is what you're going to get. And for the Muslim, the first priority is Islam and their own people. Yeah. As you did, Obama was even bending in front of the Saudi king when he went. Remember? That was controversial. He bore in front of.
His name is an Islamic name. Obama Hassan
Hussein. Yeah. Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah. And even I'm surprised at how these people didn't notice that. When he went for
just in after 9/11.
Yeah. When he went to sort of swear to go to office, if you remember, they come up with something and they said, oh, it was a technical problem, blah blah blah, and they did a second time. Do you remember that?
No, not really. Yeah, well, did they use the Quran, was it?
Yeah, because they brought the Bible And he obviously said, I'm a Muslim. So they didn't say anything then, and they said, oh, it was a bit of a technical problem. For the first time in the history, they did second time. So he came, although he was saying, I'm a churchman. Do you remember? He fooled everybody, deceived everybody.
Right.
This is what is the Islam about. This is how Muhammad did. You know, Muhammad didn't tell the truth. You know, I mean, if we got time, I'll tell you how these people following their Muhammad, their prophet.
Yeah, go ahead.
When if you remember, during time of the peace treaty with Israel and Palestine, it was Yasser Arafat, if you remember. Yasser Arafat signed the peace treaty, and when he came to the sort of in front of the press, most of the Arab press, they almost swear at him that, you know, kind of how you traitor could sign a peace treaty with these people. And he couldn't say anything in public because, you know, obviously he had to pass the code that Muslim is not what you think. Yeah. All he said to those press, to Arab press, he said, remember Hudaybiyah. And what's that story? It was the peace treaty that Muhammad did. Funny enough, both of them, they were for 10 years. The Yasser Arafat signed the peace treaty for 10 years. He broke it after 8 years, mind you. But Muhammad signed the peace treaty with the Meccan. When he came to conquer Mecca, he couldn't. So he put his army outside the Mecca in an area that's sort of Hudaybiyah called, and he was robbing caravans and taking their women and money and everything. So that's how Muhammad was getting his army, because people knew if you join Muhammad, you're going to get women and you're going to get money. That's why it's promised. And Muhammad, after 2 years, not even 10 years, 2 years, he broke the peace treaty when he had enough power to attack Mecca, and he conquered Mecca while their guard was down, because those people trusted him. You see, if Muhammad was not trustable, people, I promise you, the people who following him, they copying him, they're not going to be trustable. That's all I can tell.
Absolutely. Listen, it's been a long chat. Listen, thank you so much, Elvis, for all your information. And we'll talk to you on the Knowledge Wednesday again. And it's an absolute pleasure. You're just you're like the salmon, the knowledge of salmon in Ireland. There's a story about that. But yeah, you're absolutely a book of knowledge. So it's a lot there for us all to think about. So next week we will be talking about the hadiths and what Muhammad said and how they impact Muslims and the way they think. Thank you so much, Elvis. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me. Lovely. Nice talking to you.
You are listening to Irish News Radio and irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.